everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in Gold Rush, part 23 of our D&D 4th edition Weird West campaign. Today is April 21st, 2025, and you are loved. That is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audiocasts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to again join us at patreon.com/indooradventures. But let's say you already support us on Patreon. You already support us on YouTube and Twitch and all of those other wonderful spaces, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Well, guess what, Acorns? I got your back, quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks. We even have face masks with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, designed by our very own Cyberwolf 1201, where all the proceeds of all of our merch currently goes to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Again, that is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey, RJ, who you playing today?
Hey everybody, my name is RJ. Today I'm playing Kid, the Genasi Sword Mage. We both go by he, they. We're climbing a mountain.
I'm LBHackEmUp. I'm going to be playing Trisannas. She is the Wildin Seeker of the group. I'm a tree person. I go by she, her. Tris goes by she, they, or any. She just tree.
Boy, I'm Cyber. I use he or any pronouns. I play Rakel. Rakel uses she, her. She's a shaman. This performance is brought to you by the number 4.
And I am the indoor adventurer, he, him, and tonight I shall be playing as Carruthers Edelweiss, also known as Ruth to his friends. Uses them he, him pronouns, and last I checked, was a human ranger, and mayhaps be a little familiar with the terrain they have found themselves in.
Hey everybody, I am Wings, also known as Danae Keener. I am the DM on this here adventure. Let's get right into the recap. Last session was session 22. The posse awoke to Kid exhibiting some strange symptoms. After an examination, it was determined that he had contracted some sort of disease from a bite from one of the snaptrap wolves that had attacked them. Whew. That was a heck of a run-on sentence. Rakel cast a ritual that would delay the symptoms of the disease, but they found that until the deputy of this territory was defeated, the disease would not be cured. Their werebeaver friend saw them off with some armor upgrades, and the posse headed west along the river to find their way to Cloudfort Pass, where they would meet their foe. They climbed a treacherous, icy peak and fell into an ancient, ruined tower. Inside, they met 2 familiar faces: Thorn, the defeated minion suffering from an advanced stage of the disease, and the mysterious mechanical stranger that had been on their tail since they left Serendipity. The stranger explained that they had made it their life's mission to hunt down those with law, as they believed that the collection of gold invariably corrupts. They would have destroyed Thorn, too, but the posse placed him under their protection, and the posse had grown too powerful for the stranger to defeat. The stranger reminded Rakel to use the old ways, and ominously hinted that they aren't meant to hold on to it. And with that, the creature left them. So we left off, you guys were in the tower, and getting ready to leave. Tris, you will remember that you tried to see the ghosts of this civilization that belonged to this tower. And it was different than any other ghost that you had ever seen. It was these weird puddles of liquid binary, as though they were on a plane of existence that you didn't comprehend or were unable to perceive. And as you leave this tower, there are horrible icy winds. As you are getting closer and closer to the location of the deputy of this territory, it seems that the weather itself wants to repel you. So, as you are traveling over this treacherous terrain, I'd like everybody to go ahead and make me an endurance check.
Because historically, Kid has done well on these. Endurance.
Okay.
Wait. Shit, what did Survivor's Preparation do?
Good question.
Do we have a paladin in the group that can give us an up for this?
No, I think I will have given us an up. I need to know the index. I don't have this in my character sheet.
It's called Survivor's Preparation, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Survivor's Preparation. You and your allies do not need to make endurance checks for heat and cold environmental dangers. Oh, you're so right, bestie. I tried to pull a fast one on you there. I literally forgot that that's exactly what that does. Good job. I at least remembered to make you roll for it. Now it's actually useful. Incredible. Okay. And it actually is useful because that would have been bad for you guys.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, you all failed.
But now that's against cold. But we also do get +2 bonus to endurance checks against starvation, thirst, and any environmental dangers that require endurance checks.
Good to know. It was against the cold though, so you y'all are good as it turns out. Thorn, however.
Oh.
No, Thorn's doing fine actually. Thorn's got kin up this way, as he's made a sterner stuff than that. All right. So you need to pick your way across these frozen peaks. I'm imagining like sweeping helicopter shots of that one part in Lord of the Rings where they're like going in like that horrible
Single file line.
death march across the mountain. Yeah. Like that is my my mental image of this. The snow is like up to your chest. You have to like wade through it and basically blaze your own trail. Ruth, however, you are somewhat familiar with this area. Why don't you give me a check of some sort to lead the party to where you need to go?
Like a nature or a perception, maybe?
Yes. I need to remind myself what our skill list is. Because there is no survival check. It's
Correct.
Yeah. Either nature or perception, yes.
Nature. 21.
That's good. It is odd to see the mountainside from this height. But somehow you have clarity here. How do you lead your crew to the Cloudfort?
So I think what Ruth does is the first thing that he'll do is actually take out, he would probably have shards of bone on him from some such thing. If anyone has ever seen what the original like sunglasses looked like that more northern peoples of the world would use, is that they had like these little slits to kind of prevent any sort of excess sun from entering into it so they wouldn't get snowblind. And I think Ruth just like has taken the time while they were inside of this tunnel, knowing that like we're gonna have to go out there to sort of like make those just real quick for folks. And at this point, there's a lot of just sort of like, okay, if the tower fell here and the tower was related, does he know if this was like a lookout tower, or was this supposed to be connected to the fort?
I feel like you have seen architecture like this before.
Okay.
The thing is that like reports like from the war is that none of this architecture makes any sense. Mostly on account of the fact that like the foundations never would have held the buildings that they were holding up.
Oh, okay.
And all of the buildings are like on their sides, destroyed, scattered, like just every single like ruin you come across is ruined.
Gotcha. So I think he's sort of looking for like a general fall pattern, like if this fell as a result of something farther away, like pushing it over, that sort of thing, because he knows essentially you don't want to get too high when you're trying to scope out where to go, especially in these parts, because the account of the flying trains that apparently want to eat us alive. So he's using a lot of like landmark-based navigation, like, oh, that's Harold's Tooth right over there. We want to make sure to like go this way when we see that, referring to like a mountain peak or something like that. Like just sort of using that natural geography that is around them from what they're able to see. Because if they're up this high, the only thing that's truly visible is going to be either the flow of water that was coming from the river that had frozen over, which at this point is probably also covered in snow of some sort, or using the surrounding mountain. I want to say topography, but I don't believe that's the right phrase for it, to more designate where he believes they should go in order to get to this place.
All right. You would know for a fact that the only safe passage through the Palisades, like in this area, like aside from like just going around either like to the south or to the north, and that would be thousands of miles, is through the Cloudfort Pass, which is just beyond the Cloudfort, which was the old stomping grounds of the Compass Roves. Now, you have never personally been to the Cloudfort, but you were intimately knowledgeable of the blueprints of the Cloudfort and the location of where it was going to be. So, using all of this knowledge, you are able to find safe passage to this location. And through the help of the survivors' preparation, you all do so unmolested. Beings that it has been 2 encounters since you last claimed an action point, everybody gets an action point, first of all.
I got it.
And second of all, Triss, as you guys are making this journey, I think that you happen to look up a couple of times at the sky, probably like keeping an eye out for those wayward trains. And you come to realize that what you took for snowfall, you know, just like the weird static that you get from looking up during a snowstorm, is actually more of that spectral smear of binary. And it is everywhere, like just in clouds throughout the sky.
Chris looks up, sees this. She walks over to Rakel. And she says, now after we left the last spot with all the ghosts, how are you feeling about specters and spectral beings?
The same. I mean, yeah, they're not really something that I can typically do stuff with, but I mean, I know they're there.
Does it give you the heebie-jeebies to know that they're there?
Not really.
Well, good, because... And she kind of, like, looks back to make sure that nobody else can hear. We are surrounded by bits of spirits that don't seem to be fully upon the plane that I can see.
What do you mean by bits?
You know when you light a fire and all of the wood burns down to ash?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that, but more goopy.
Okay.
I figure somebody else should know. I don't like it, and I don't know what it means, but it is disturbing me, and I thought perhaps you might have an inkling as to where these things are coming from.
I mean, look, things that have passed into the veil aren't really my expertise.
Understood. Well, I would just keep it from the others for now because they do tend to get a little uncomfortable when surrounded by spirits.
Okay.
Thank you. Are you all right after that encounter with the metal creature?
I'm fine.
All right. If you want to talk about it at all, we're all here for you.
Okay.
Okay.
This conversation occurs as you make your way through an ice cave. Excuse me. That was formed by icicles that just kind of like dripped off the edge of an overhang until they eventually just formed a full like ice wall. And this gives you a brief respite from the wind. But it is at the entrance of where you expect to find the Cloudfort, Ruth. And as you're approaching, you hear a voice echoing off of these walls. At last you have arrived. For months I have tracked you, followed your trail of destruction. And this voice is echoing off of the walls, making it difficult to ascertain exactly where it's coming from. You, who have taken everything from me. Thorn's eyes are just wide. You may have thought you could slip past me, but... a piece of paper flutters to the ground, and you recognize it as one of the magical wanted posters. I knew where you were headed all along. At this point, in front of you, a figure lands with a billowing cloak that he turns around dramatically and throws off. But now... I, Thorny-Toed Jim, will have my vengeance! You may have been able to best me before, but I am now twice as powerful as when you first faced me. What? Why is he raising his hand?
Kid shoots him in the leg.
Okay.
Thorny-Toad, what did you do?
Roll a fucking shoot check.
A what?
Roll a shoot 'em check.
Yeah, roll a
Raise
shoot 'em
basic.
check. An attack.
Shoot him. God, I want to spend an
dodges
action
out of the way
point.
with his big, long Waluigi leg. Kind of does like a little turn, and then like lands, like checks himself, and goes, "Ha!" and points at you. And at that exact moment, a platform underneath him springs upward, and he is flung off of the mountain. And like you look over the edge, and you see him like bounce once, twice, and then start rolling, and then form like a snowball as he just goes down. The platform that just popped up is a keep out sign.
Who was
Huh.
that?
You remember in the first town, the guy that we killed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, who
was
was
that-
Is
that?
that the kinfolk you said that was running up around these mountains?
He was the leader of the gang Thorn is originally from.
No, I know that part, but
For
Thorn-
Rakel, who was not here.
Oh, understood.
Folks, I think this is where I part ways with you. Thorn's gonna walk up to a nice sickle and like break it off, and then break off another one and start trying to fashion himself some skis. I gotta go help him out. I didn't know he was alive, and now my life has purpose again. So I guess I gotta get out of here.
I'm not sure
Wow.
that he's still alive.
Let the man live his dreams.
I
Go
don't know,
on, Miss.
like a whole thing popped up. It said 0 XP.
His experience bar was gray.
I'm awful appreciative of everything that y'all have done for me, and I wish you the best.
Alright, just be aware that once you leave our protection, that ghost guy is gonna come after you.
He's Iron Flesh. He is not a ghost.
Well, that's even more reason for me to go and protect my boss.
Thorn, if you find your boss, and you're cold, or you need a place to stay, Jax's cabin is always open to you. Otherwise, you are more
You're
than
shit out of luck.
welcome to come on back, and we'll make sure that you get, 3 hots and a cot as best you can.
Mr. Thorn,
Yeah?
I don't expect to ever see you again. She turns.
So I guess this is goodbye.
What an
Thanks
icon.
again, everybody. I'll see you later, maybe, but probably not. Go skiing down the mountain.
He's gonna die
The
out there.
witnesses.
Jim, wait for me.
I think, kid, if you do raise it, Ruth will just, move the barrel down. Just save the ammo. He'll die on his own out there in no time.
No, but it's a mercy at this point.
Dying in the snow isn't that bad. I mean, you just fall asleep and then you'll pass away.
That sounds pretty horrific to me, Mistress.
No,
That
it's
sounds
great.
pretty horrific to me.
Well, at least you're not being lit on fire. I heard that is the worst way to die.
Especially
Hey,
for someone
it's
like
the
you.
smoke.
Exactly.
It's not even the fire that gets you, it's the smoke.
Anyway.
No,
Anyway.
the fire would get me pretty good.
You find yourself standing in front of a spring-loaded keep-out sign.
Hmm.
Can I reset it?
Sure. You just, push it down and it, clicks into place.
Latch it.
Well,
I'm so tempted to step on it. Sorry.
So,
Good.
going further, is there a further in the ice cave, or?
You will be let out of the ice cave, and there'll be a sharp turn, and it will go down a canyon, where, there's a path that kind of, sidewinds its way down to, a very nicely built hunting lodge.
Is it a normal-sized hunting lodge?
It's a giant hunting lodge, for sure.
Wait. That seems like the place. I'm going.
Rakel leads the
Should-
way.
Should we have a plan? Perhaps lighting it on fire?
ever have a plan when we go to face one of these guys?
And in our defense, it usually ends with us lighting it on fire anyways.
Raquel, lead the way.
Or exploding it.
As you make your way down this switchback trail to the hunting lodge, at some point you will notice that there are a couple of like outbuildings that are a part of this complex. There is a train station that is mysteriously devoid of rails, but you can put two together and realize that this is where the Sky Rail would park, as it were. You notice that there is a place for some stables, and the lodge itself is butted up against the mountain wall, and that wall is a sheer cliff that goes hundreds of feet into the air. And then, like, behind the lodge, you can see a sliver of that it makes the Cloudfort pass.
Hell, what sort of creature would fit in that barn there?
Say that again.
What sort of creature would fit in that barn there?
In that what there?
Barn. Barn.
We'll go to the park.
I mean,
Is it like horse-sized or is it bigger?
I mean, well, we had identified it as stables, so
Danae,
like-
is it
It's
horse-sized?
stables.
Okay.
Yes, horse size, but I want to say that like everything in this particular complex is probably like a couple of sizes larger with accommodations for smaller sizes.
Mhm.
Like if you say hello to Bram. He's a mic
Blam!
It's the Bram.
Tail.
Like if you poke your head into the stable, like the walking space, like all of the roofs, I guess all the ceilings are vaulted, and all of the doorways are large enough to accommodate somebody at least 15 feet tall.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're not going to run into a weird creature up here besides this giant.
No. I suspect
As
we will.
far as Ruth remembers, they never found a creature large enough for Cirrus to ride.
There. Hell yeah.
Turns out he just had plenty of good running.
Well.
And all along this path that it takes to get to the lodge, there are periodic signs that say, keep out, private property, turn back now.
There a photo of a like caricaturized giant running through the snowfield that just says giant Xing.
Sure.
If you're driving through here with a car, you'd be real surprised when one of them jumps in the middle of the road.
How would you like to approach?
Stealth.
I was gonna say we should probably sneak.
Checking for traps as best we can.
Let's get a group stealth check, and then whoever wants to can give me a perception check to look for traps.
I'm right there
Wow.
with you, Rakel. I'm right there with you.
That was
Wow.
two natural ones. We're not playing Fallout anymore, guys.
I
Low is bad.
rolled 2, but it turned into a 9 because I have the pluses. But that being said, because of my winter snap armor, when it's in snowy / cold stuffs, I get a +2 to the check. So I still don't think an 11 is the sneakiest, but a
Okay.
9.
Can I get an advantage because I'm in my natural habitat?
Sure, but advantage in 4th edition is just a +2,
That's fair.
unfortunately.
That's totally fine.
May
Totally
I use an
stealthy.
action point to re-roll?
You may if you wish.
Okay. I don't think that it'll really matter. 16 instead.
Okay. Um, just double checking. Okay. Kid and Rakel are struggling to make their way stealthily through the snow. But Ruth sort of flattens himself into the snowbank. And Triss just like moves with this otherworldly grace. And kind of like slips between the snowflakes with her birch skin. Rakel, you are able to notice the snow would be a fantastic place to hide any traps, particularly if they were placed before the snow fell. So you keep a careful look out for where you step, probably poking a stick in front of you in case it triggers any like pit traps or anything. But while you're keeping an eye out for traps, you do notice that there is a well-worn path between the train station and the lodge into a side door.
Hey, let's not go in front door.
Can we sneak around at the back?
Sure thing.
Well,
You
Rakel will lead y'all to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Rakel leads you around to the side door, where this well-worn path is, and you find the door unlocked. You creak it open, and as you grab the door latch, it like all of these doors are giant-sized. It does that goofy thing where like it opens up a smaller door inside the large door that's like, you know, person-sized.
It's not goofy. It's an accessibility feature.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
You peer inside, and it is old, dusty, and dilapidated. But because of the dust, you can see the track of footprints that has been worn into it, leading to a particular door down the hallway. Once again, Ruth is familiar with the layout of this place, having seen the blueprints. Is there anything in particular that you would immediately want to look for entering this area? Or do you have any questions about the compound based on like knowledge that you would have?
The knowledge that I would have is mostly like so orienting to where we are, where from what I know, like as far because typically in blueprints you're like, this is like Grand Hall, this will be like this area. Do I have an understanding of where the footprints in the dust would be leading, as well as kind of surrounding areas that we would have direct access to, even if they were not like following through the dust?
The footprints in the dust are definitely going to one of the deputies' bedrooms. You are aware that the layout of the lodge in general has a sort of like central living area that contains, just commons, a place to store and make food. And then there are like bedrooms along the sides of the building. And then towards the back would be like processing for the plans were in the back there to have processing for folks that were coming through the pass to go live out west.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. So
within the central area, are there any trophies, any mounts or anything of creatures that he's hunted? And do any of them have faces? Like, were they? First off, are there any?
Sure. You like going in through the side door, you would pass several like rooms to get to the common area. But if you do that, you enter the common area, and there is a large dining table that is still set with some silverware and plates, and even some food that is long rotted. Over the fireplace, I'll say that there is a particularly large moose head.
With a face or without
Yes.
a face?
Yes, with a face.
Okay, so probably here for longer than the no face curse.
Yes.
Can Kid stick
I
his
was
hand?
wondering where you were going with that. I completely forgot about the no face curse. Yes, of course. Yes, there is a moose with a face.
Can Kid stick his hand in the fireplace to see if there are any like embers or coals, see if it's been in use recently?
Absolutely not. Very cold. Triss, you walk into this room and it feels haunted. It feels like there should be ghosts here, but you see no one. But there's also kind of that weird static that you've come to associate with those clouds you saw outside.
You're muted.
Whispers. Mr. Ruth.
yeah.
Mr. Ruth.
Yeah. Yeah.
She whispers. Do you know, does this man have anything to do with the dead? Is he a necromancer of some sort?
So he himself was not. However, think about whose train we stole to get on up here. It was Dexter's. Vampire spawn. Could be that he was utilizing some such trickeries of either the dead or having died to do whatever. Otherwise, I'm not really sure. Could be it's awful cold outside. Maybe there's some like people frozen in giant blocks of ice that just need a thawing, and then they'd be fine. So their soul's not like they're not really dead, but they're not really alive. I'm not sure. Miss Triss, I do apologize. All of this, for the layout wise, I'm aware of, but all of this was after my time.
DM, do I think that this cloud effect has anything to do with the propulsion that was used before we stopped it? The, like, burning of souls as fuel?
No.
Okay.
Not directly.
Okay.
It is not soul soot.
Yes, yes.
Like, it is soul related, for
Yeah.
sure. But it's
Yeah.
like souls in a language you don't know.
Can you?
They're all Greek.
Plus souls.
Yeah. She says, perhaps we are already moving with caution, but perhaps we should continue to do so. I'm getting the heebie-jeebies, and that does not happen to me often.
Could Kid make a history or arcana check to see if the Sons had any ghost stories about this kind of situation?
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go this one. Can't see.
That's a nat 20, sir.
Nat 20.
32. I can't hear you.
Sorry. Can you hear me yet? There
Yes.
we go. What do I do with a natural 20? I gotta give you something good, right? I want to say that at some point, Cook explained to you what ghosts were, and explained to you the difference between what happens when a person with law dies and a person without law dies. A person with law who dies will leave something behind, that being, their gold. A person without law does not carry gold with them, so all they have to leave behind are their memories. So what he's explained to you is that all a ghost is just memories with no place to be, no one to belong to. Ghosts are more sad than they are scary. And that's what really jumps out to you, is that that's all they are, is memories.
Could I make another Arcana check to try and get some of these ghost memories together for a coherent?
Yeah, yes.
Before I do this, here's a theory, a game theory,
Okay.
A ghost theory.
a ghost theory. So, yep, here we go, I guess. 30.
That's pretty damn good.
Think. Sorry.
I think that you well, tell me how you're attempting to do this. I have an idea for what to do with this. How do you come across the solution? Because let me put it this way. I have a solution. How do you find it?
The temperature in the room drastically shifts warmer as a breeze rolls through, smelling like the plains at summer, and it just sort of starts pushing the soot together and molding it into a homogeneous blob.
Okay.
The soul soot, all of the soul soot into a homogeneous blob.
I see. Okay. And you're using your law to do this?
Yeah.
Okay. You exert your will over the law in this room to try and give these memories shape. And the soot comes out of the fireplace, and it turns into a blob that begins to take shape. The problem is you can't quite keep up with the shape, and you realize that it's moving. You determine that you either need to find a way to focus on this shape. It's almost like light, like you need a way to capture this shape in a way that you can look at.
Oh. Kid will reach out a hand, and the shape will just start accumulating into the palm into a singular coin. If there is a face of a person, it will appear as the face of the coin.
Okay. It is a man with a beard. Have you ever seen a dwarf before?
Probably they've rolled through serendipity.
You recognize this as a dwarf. And Ruth, looking over his shoulder, that's Goldtooth Joe in that coin right there.
And you said that this was, what you were doing was putting a dead spirit blob into a coin?
I just wanted to know what was, like, here. I could always dust it and return the spirit back.
I don't think that that's necessary. That's gold tooth. Right there.
Oh,
No,
No
that's a
shit.
gold coin.
Well. Hey! Leader of the Compass Rose. Gold Tooth Joe. That's his face. Don't know what he's doing on your coin. On account of you saying that you were pulling spirit energies and all sorts of that.
Technically speaking, I'm pulling memories out of the air, and apparently the memories here are from Gold Tooth.
That would make sense, given that this was base of operation. That would be like going to your old stomping grounds, like your childhood bedroom, pulling memories out and then being surprised that it had your face on it.
Do you want it?
I'll take it.
Ping!
Bites it.
24 karat Gold Tooth Joe.
Okay.
So remind me, because we haven't talked about this in a while. Goldtooth Joe is for sure dead. We know that he's dead, or he disappeared.
He is trapped on the other side of the Palisade Mountains. And he's the one who sent out the wanted posters, along with a letter that essentially promised all of his riches to whoever could defeat his treacherous deputies and bring him their badges.
Mm.
Why would the dust of Gold Tooth Joe be over here?
We're at the peak of the Palisades, right?
With your natural 20, RJ, I will say, these are memories that
Okay,
you're...
like strong emotions, essentially.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It does not necessarily mean that he's
That
dead.
they're dead. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you for clarifying.
Yeah. I don't want to send you down as fun as that would be to be all like, oh no, maybe he's dead.
As fun as it
Ooh."
is for you to stand on the trapdoor sign, here's what's actually happening.
I've got other stuff going on here, and I'm not gonna make you spin your wheels over nothing. Tris, give me an Arcana check.
Tell me to fuck myself.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. No, whenever you do law, it's nature, right?
Yeah,
It was still a really bad roll.
it
What would
was.
your-
I rolled a 4.
Total?
Yeah.
Well, that's better. The problem that Kid is having is that he needs a way to capture something that he can't see. You are in possession of a ghost camera.
We're gonna play. What's that game? What's that Japanese game where you have to take pictures
Fatal
of
Frame.
ghosts?
Pale
Thank
frame.
you. Tris is like, oh, I see what's happening here, and she like takes out her camera and puts it over her head and lines up a shot of the room at a wide angle and
The flash of the
Get
camera.
the girl from the ring right in your face.
The flash of the camera briefly blinds everyone. And as the spots clear, the dingy, dirty room, clothed in darkness and cobwebs, is replaced with a warm, cozy living quarters. There is a roaring fire in the fireplace, and in front of it is a dwarf who is setting up a cast iron and seems to be arguing with somebody on the other side of the room. Kid, you find yourself standing next to a chair which is occupied by a woman with a dark veil over her face as though she's in mourning. And she's just kind of occupying herself with a whittling knife. And she is carving something out of wood, just sort of quietly and contemplatively to herself. Rakel, you are in front of the table, and at the table is sort of like crouched, not like in a chair, but like horse body kind of laying like lazily to the side. A bored-looking teenage centaur is playing with one of those like ball and cup games and like utterly failing to like even get it once. And on the other side of the table, an annoyed-looking businessman is wrestling with some paperwork. And you hear a booming voice from the other side of the room. Stew is the most nutrient-efficient way to prepare meat. And Joe just kind of like waves him off and says, well, if you wanted stew, you should have been here with this hours ago. I'm making steak. And then it disappears. You're back in the dark room.
I'm sorry.
Ruth very quietly just like pulls out a little like rag, just like dabs at his eyes.
What did we just see?
I think we just saw a memory of this place.
She like pulls out the image and shakes it.
It's the scene that I described before. There's a dark shadow in the corner where the giant is looming. Joe is got his back to the camera so you don't see his face. But the rest of the deputies are seated around, just sort of occupying themselves with their own pastimes.
Do I think that if I take another picture, I'll see something different, or?
Same cutscene plays.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'll save you some time. It'll be the same cutscene.
Okay.
Hit A once too many times.
If we're, still scoping out this area, I would like to check the bedroom.
Whose bedroom?
The bedroom that I saw Dusty Trail going to.
Okay. Rakel wanders off to the Dusty Trail bedroom. You push open the door. What you find here, it's very simple accommodations. Let me pull up my notes. This one. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong part of my notes. I'm not very organized, you guys, just so you know. This is a different cattail, just also so you know. This one's Tisha. I have to deal with this twice a night.
Baby girl.
Yes, okay. This is a small, simple dwelling with opulent but aged furnishings.
It's a small dwelling? Or small for a giant?
Small.
Okay.
Like, every single room in the building will be large enough to accommodate a giant. But, like, all of the furnishings are definitely, like, human-sized. There's a neatly kept writing desk with a single gas lamp, a bookshelf, and a crate, a long crate, like a coffin-style crate. And then a smaller crate next to it full of glass bottles. But the most interesting thing in the room, I'd say, would be the desk, because there's drawers and things to rifle through.
Yeah, I'll start snooping.
Okay. You pull open the drawer and you find a few journals. You come to realize that the bookshelf is full of nothing but like journals. This is Dexter's dwelling. You come to find Baron von Ferrum, as you would, but I think Ruth would know him as Dexter. The journal in the desk is his most recent journal, and then like you can kind of start to like put together which ones are the oldest ones just by how old they are.
Okay, knowing that, is there any recent information about Cirrus?
About Cirrus.
Like
Um,
going through like the last, 2 months or something. Like, is there any conversations with Cirrus or any
um,
meetings?
you go flipping through the journal, like you go back like 2 months, and it's mostly just keeping track of his minions over in Lethe Springs. If you start picking up journals and like tracing them backward like through time and just flipping until you see the name Cirrus, it would be several years ago, and
I don't
it
think
just
Rakel will go back that far.
oh, okay. You lose interest before you are able to find anything involving Cirrus.
Yep. Cool. I'm gonna go look for something else.
Okay,
Can I take a picture in this room before they leave?
sure.
As you turn around to leave the room.
The room is cleaner, but there is very little that has changed. The crate is exactly the same. The furnishings are exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the chair has been pushed in, and like his things haven't been rifled through. And it seems for a moment, and the gas light is on. It seems for a moment you're just going to be looking at an empty room, when the bookshelf slides to the side, and Dexter steps out, sort of looks around, takes out a journal from his lapel, out from under his lapel, walks over to the desk, opens up a secret compartment, and puts that journal in.
Ooh. Is the secret door open right now?
In the vision, yes, but then
Okay.
the vision ends, and everything's back to the way it was.
Tris goes over to the secret door.
Oh, okay.
I would like to open the secret door, please.
Sure. I think the vision would have given you enough information to ascertain where the secret, latch is to open the door. I'll say it's a candlestick on the wall that like turns to the side.
Oh. You see Tris just go, and then the door opens.
Poke your head in, look around. This area is a little more well kept in one way, in the sense that there's enough movement through this area that there is less dust just sitting. But for the as far as like neatness goes, it is pretty wild. There are open books, papers scattered everywhere, diagrams on the walls. We've got a full-on like red string board going on. It does not take long for you to ascertain that this is a room dedicated to researching the civilization that the Skytrains came from.
Oh, fascinating. She will reach her head out and say, Rakel, would
Huh?
you go get Mr. Ruth, please?
Hey, Ruth.
Ruth just like snaps, like he was just like chilling at the table, just like touching on it and hearing his name. He'll come on over.
There's some interesting information in here about the sky trains, if you're...
Like their weaknesses?
Where they came from, so perhaps...
That's... could be just as useful. What the hell's going on in here?
I think this is what they call a red string board. I'm ascertaining that because of the red string that is connecting things.
Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia.
Is that a demon?
No, but you don't want to look in the mirror and say it 3 times. I'll tell you that much for free.
We keep on getting mail for Pepe Sylvia here in the outpost, but we have no one here by the name Pepe Sylvia.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll start looking around.
Triss will leave him to it.
So, Ruth, the general story back from the war days is that the things that you were fighting were mindless machines.
Yep.
As you're looking around here, several things become clear. They were not mindless machines. They were capable of reasoning, philosophy, speech, and flying buildings.
Whoops. This is basically all Ruth
Another
could say
thing
about
becomes clear to you. Dexter was aware of that. When he became aware of that is not clear.
Makes sense.
Looking through the notes here, you will find that this civilization has since fallen, but also had a unique control over law. Law is supposed to be a recent discovery, but it seems that command over law is much older than anyone anticipated.
Well, I know that from at least Ruth's backstory, one of the things that they had talked about, or that we had talked about, was like, we learned, it's the equivalent of like, I learned it from watching you. Like, like during the fight, like we learned how to use law from watching them utilize law. So I think like when it comes to like, oh yeah, they definitely use law, but then like looking and it's like, oh, this is like hieroglyphic equivalent. Like, oh, they've been using law forever.
Right. The use of law that you witnessed like was considered like primitive. This is way advanced, like beyond anything that you guys are capable of or have considered.
Well, I'll be.
Like there are it's like El Dorado in the sky, dude. Like the walls are made of gold.
This is certainly something, I'll tell you that one for free. I think he's just sort of like standing there and like as he looks and continues to like put more together, there is that deepened sense of shame that he already carries with him. But seeing that is just like, yep, that tracks. And I think he, did he know, or like when they were laying this, when they were constructing this, was there room on the blueprints that said like Dexter's special room or like something like that? Like it was like clear in the blueprints that this happened, or did Dexter like build this on later?
This room seemed small when you walked in. Okay. Because Dexter was supposed to have a much larger room.
Gotcha. Okay. He built this wall later.
So like, yeah, it's clearly an add-on.
Okay. I wonder how long he's been collecting all this. Well, can't ask him now.
Why do you think he was researching this?
Well, twofold. Yeah, trifold, if anything. One, know your enemy. Back in the old days, before a lot of this came to light, you know, see brainless masses that you need to, well, remove, so to say. It doesn't necessarily behoove people to tell them that they can think and feel and are just very much like you, if only a little bit more metal. That being said, Dexter was not exactly the... Well, you know, he wasn't a strong fella. It only took me one swing of a hatchet to bring him down, but... That being said, the things that we fought throughout our time in the war, we did not learn how to utilize law in the same sense that folks like you and Rakel do. For myself, for Dexter, and many of us, it was a trial by fire. Learn how to use law, get good enough to use law that you could turn it into a weapon. Got to do that by watching somebody. And based off of what we're seeing here, I'm rather glad Dexter never exactly figured out how to weaponize it beyond what he already has. Had, rather. And then, of course, the third part of that is also knowing your enemy. Like I said, maybe he was trying to figure out how to control it, whether the towers or, I mean, he was already controlling one of the cars, train cars, to do his bidding. Who's to say that he wasn't building up, trying to make some kind of golden army or something like that?
Well, I hope not.
Well, regardless, again, it's not like we can ask him. We sort of took care of that, but would you be able to do one of them flashy thingies in here?
Sure. You want to step out so you don't get it right in the eyes?
Okay.
I will take a picture of this room.
You see Dexter burning the midnight oil in this room. And there's like bottles of drained blood around him. Like his hair is like all unkempt. It seems like he's looking for the answer to something. And you see him take a piece of paper of like one of the sky trains, put it up against the wall and like jam like a railroad spike through it. And he turns around and like looks directly in your eyes, and then the vision ends. The expression on his face was as though somebody had entered the room.
Perhaps somebody else knows about this as well. That might not be good if they are a smarter man than Dexter.
Can I make heads or tails of these notes?
Sure. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
Please. 18.
You're able to find the paper with the railroad spike through it. It has since been covered by other papers, but it is a diagram of the interior of one of these sky trains, with notes on the mechanism that the sky trains use to pierce and drain read life force from a victim. And there are notes here from Dexter trying to figure out how he can do the same thing. But as you're reading it, you realize that somebody with law, like this would be very hard to pull off as somebody without law, but as somebody with law, you could definitely do this. And this paper will work as blueprints for a gift of thirsting salt.
Thirsting salt.
We can rename it, but that's what it's going to be called in the compendium. It gives you a daily power. It's a free action. When you hit and damage an enemy with a melee attack, you can regain 10 points or 20 points if you scored a critical hit.
Kid looks at it, turns his head to the side. Yeah, I think I could do that. And he'll spend all of his money
to basically activate that power.
Yeah, what it looks like is it is one of those fingerless gloves that appear on his hand. There is a caricature of 2 vampire fangs on the back knuckle, and he will just clench it slightly and they glow.
Sick. Love that. Cool, cool, cool. All right. That was Dexter's secret room.
Where's his
Where
dark
to next?
passenger? Sorry.
I mean, Rakel has left the room and it's just been like going around touching
Rakel.
things.
You're going around touching things.
And-
As you leave the room, the door, you shut the door behind you, or the door, like kind of like, you get that like suction of like leaving the room, like the door kind of like follows you. The force of the door shutting knocks something off the top of the door frame, and you hear a metallic sound as something falls behind you.
Neat. What is it?
It's a key.
I take the key.
It's a little brass key with a D embossed into the handle.
I'm looking for number one, I'm just going through and looking at rooms, but also I'm trying to make my way to the back of the lodge where, this would hopefully lead through to the pass.
Okay. You make your way to the back of the lodge. You find that there are some like wagon unloading stations, places like I don't think that you would like understand this as like basically a checkpoint between 2 different territories, but that's what this is. And you find a large wrought iron gate with a doorway and these golden chains that are holding this iron gate shut. And holding these chains together are a set of 4 different padlocks, all with different like symbols and emblems on them. And one of those padlocks has the same D that's on the key that you just found.
Clearly, this goes in the square hole.
Yeah. You take that key, stick it in there. There is like clearly some sort of like law involved with this process. And both the key and the padlock melt away. There are 3 remaining padlocks.
I'm gonna go back in and keep raffling through things.
Okay. Rakel comes back and is still looking through everything. Are you looking in the common area? Are you gonna find another bedroom? What's your plan?
At this point, I'm going into rooms that I haven't been in before, so I would assume other bedrooms.
Okay. Well, let's pick a random place for Rakel to go into. As we're doing this, like I'm assuming that the rest of you are like, fulfilling that scene that you guys had before. So Rakel has a little bit of alone time. Where do we go to next, Rakel?
Rakel is composing ADHD in C minor.
That works for me. That works for me. Okay. Rakel, you open up a door, and you find yourself in a dark, fuzzy room. Your eyes sort of adjust to the light. There is the ghostly, snowy light drifting in through the window, and you realize that all of the furniture is larger than it should be. The walls are just coated in various hunting trophies, furs, traps, antlers, just various trophies of a well-traveled giant. I think one of the first things that catches your eye is a shelf that's just full of trinkets, interestingly shaped rocks, little bones, and the smell of something law related over there.
Oh, Rakel is absolutely looking at the special rocks.
Okay. Rakel, you're looking through all of the rocks. These are like grade A rocks, like really good shapes. Like some of them are, classic arrowheads and stuff like that, but some of them are just like good to like put in your hand and like feel. You are poking through all of these trinkets and things, and you pick up one rock that has like a string coming off of it, and this one gives you kind of that shock of law, and you realize that what you're holding is a magic item. This is an amulet of false life. This enhances your fortitude, reflex, and will. It has a daily power that is a minor action. You may use this power when you are bloodied to gain temporary hit points equal to your healing surge value.
Okay.
This would be enough time for anyone to catch up with Rakel if they were going to go and try and find her.
There's just a tree person behind you. What did you find?
Some rocks.
Oh. Well, isn't that lovely? And some bones, it seems.
Oh, and I found a key that opened up a padlock in the back. I think we need like 3 others. One of them had a D on it. I assume that's for Dexter.
We'll see about that.
Did you find a key in this room?
No, I found one in Dexter's room.
Well, perhaps it is in a secret hiding space. Whose room is this?
Seriously.
Big guy, Cirrus.
I'm gonna look under things, like let's see if there's like it's taped under something.
I like that option. Give me a perception check.
Wouldn't Cirrus hide things in the ceiling?
One would think, but I went the opposite direction because that is 9.
You find dust bunnies.
Do they have
If
faces?
I were a tall person, I would never stoop so low as to stoop low.
There.
In all fairness, it hurts your back.
You're looking underneath things, as it is more easily accessible to you. You find a giant-sized. It's not a suitcase. It's like one of those like.
Duffel bag.
Not even
Satchel.
that. If you keep on saying bag names, you'll eventually get there. It's like the Mary Poppins bag.
It's satchel.
Is that a satchel?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it's
is.
called, it
The one
it
that
has,
like
it goes,
yeah.
yeah, it's like one of
Reaches-
those. And it has like a bunch of stickers on it from all of the places that he's been to.
Don't give him personality. We have to kill him later.
Oh, that didn't stop us the last 3 times.
there is a desk in this room, and there is a bed, a giant-sized bed that's just piled high with pillows and furs. Because of where you're standing, you can't exactly see what's on the desk or the bed. Like, anything that would be at, like a height that he could look down and like see is like higher than you can see. So like, any flat surfaces are not visible to you.
Apparently, they're called carpet bags.
Carpet
I'm thinking of
bags.
Edgar and Ellen, where they call that specific bag a satchel.
A satchel. When I think of a satchel, I think of like one of those like over the shoulder bags that like men tend to wear, and they don't want to call it a purse because it's emasculating.
Yeah, Indiana Jones has one.
Field medics have one. They're
I
manly.
have one. I have many. They're my
very
purses.
I also
Yeah.
have one.
You know what's manly? Being prepared for anything, and you can carry a whole lot of shit in a bag.
Let me tell you something. I started wearing cargo pants, and I also have a satchel bag. I have so many fucking pockets. It's amazing.
Hell
It's
yeah.
a tactical purse. Checkmate.
Hell yeah. Okay. Who's climbing?
I'm climbing. Rakel is, of course, climbing on furniture.
Okay. Rakel, you climb up onto the desk. You are standing on lots and lots of oversized parchment. It has to be like handmade paper because there is no manufacturing company that makes paper this big for giant hands. This is like a hobby that he does for himself. And like it is overwhelming, the amount of paper just scattered around here. There are diagrams of traps. There are anatomical drawings of various animals here. And there is like chemistry instruments that you wouldn't even know how to start with. Like they're like very complicated like glass flasks and corkscrew and like rubber and so many shelves of more of the same. And up on the wall is a hand-drawn map on a buckskin, I'll say, with various like color-coded pins of like, after some examination, you learn are places that he has been or intends to go. And there are like little bits of twine that like pull off of those pins, and they lead to these too large for like normal hands, basically what amounts to primitive photo plates. It's not the same level of technology of photography of Triss's device, but these are from like a earlier version of like a camera box, the kind that you like open up the like lens, let it sit for a few hours, and then shut the lens again. Like that's the kind of camera that he's dealing with, and it's just various like natural scenes, trees and mountains and rivers and stuff. Who else is climbing up here?
Kid just hops up.
Okay, you see the same diagrams, papers, map, photos.
Kid eyes the stationery, gets a small smile on his face. I've always wanted to do this. He'll pull a sheet of paper all the way out, fold one corner into the middle, fold another corner into the middle, crease
Oh my
it.
god.
Makes a giant paper airplane.
Whee!
A paper what?
A paper plane.
Paper missile.
And then he'll just run off the edge and
Does that thing where it like glides and then like goes up a little bit and then glides and goes up a little bit and then just nosedives. Hello. Yes.
well, At least we got an escape plan. I could fold like 3 of these in about 2 minutes, so.
Well, did you find a key?
Nope.
Did he purr right into the?
No,
he just-
was
Direct eye contact.
looking up at the
No.
mic, and then just suddenly at the camera. I was like, what? Not so fast.
He knows they're connected.
Amazing. He likes things on the screen. He will watch me play Factorio for hours.
Good for him.
He probably saw someone move, honestly.
Hmm.
No, I did not find a key.
Hmm.
If I were a giant, where would I hide a key? Looks at a dresser or something. Kit'll check high.
Okay. Give me a perception check, kid.
Can I just get there? My perception is not good.
Your perception is pretty low.
I'll give it a shot, though.
Yeah.
Dang it. Okay, real. No. Wait, what? There. 10.
Okay. That is
Middle of the road.
1 point better than Triss. This one is pretty tricky. You're trying to find a key, and so you start like climbing shelves and such. When you find a box with like a weird like lens on the front, that you don't quite understand the purpose of, but it looks kind of like what Triss uses sometimes, so it might be worth looking at.
It's pretty big, huh?
Yeah, it'd be like about the size of like, you know, like a shipping crate.
Oh my god.
Like think about like a legal like under 50 pounds package that you can lift.
Okay.
An OSHA approved package.
I think I found his camera.
My goodness. What would he need to take pictures with that for? Unless he is trapping souls in cameras.
My god, he could trap a whole town at the right angle.
She like looks at her own camera and takes a picture of this room.
Just see him ritually sacrificing someone on the table changes the tone completely.
Jesus Christ.
The fuck?
You see the back of the giant sitting at the desk. He is dressed as like your typical, like your archetypical mountain man. However, because like the animals that he uses to make his clothing are smaller than you would see on like a, you know, a regular sized person, like his clothes look very patchwork. And he's just kind of like sitting at his table, looking perturbed, I would say. And sitting on the table, cleaning her gun, is that woman in the mourning veil. And I think by this point you guys have realized that this is Miss Sissy, but you've never seen her wear the mourning veil. Ruth would know that she would wear that to protect people from her Medusa abilities. However, it seems at some point she stopped caring about that. She is cleaning her gun and, you know, sort of like taking it apart and putting it back together again. And Cirrus is just kind of like running his hands through his beard, looking perturbed. And she says, "Everything's in place. Are you good for your part of the deal?" And he just nods. "Listen, it'll only be for a little while, all right? We'll come back for you. You just gotta hold the line, okay?" He nods. "We'd never forget about you, Cirrus." She puts a hand on his shoulder, and he just like reaches over and puts a hand over her hand. And that's where the vision ends.
Were they an item?
Who are you asking that to?
In the room?
Okay.
I didn't hear it. What was the question?
Oh, were they an item?
It's rude to objectify people.
I'm sorry?
They're not items.
Oh, an item, meaning they were together romantically?
No, wasn't Miss Sissy sweet on a girl in her hometown?
I thought so, but that was a very tender interaction.
I mean, you could platonically have those kind of interactions.
Can you?
Shrugs.
Ruthie!
I would say like Ruth is notably not in this room right now.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, no, like after like he was taking some extra time in Dexter's thing. I'm assuming that Triss and Kid were both like, "Oh fuck, like we've left Rakel alone for the last 5 minutes. Like we need to go and check where this is." Ruth would be, I think that like after seeing all of this, the place that he would go wouldn't be Sirius's, because he kind of hears his friends not having like, you know, a fight or anything like that. There has always been a point of morbid curiosity for him about what was supposed to be his room in this place.
Sure.
And I think that's where he would go to check that out. But if you wanted to get into that after we come back from break.
I think that's a good idea. So before we get into break, I think that like Triss looks up, calls for Ruthie, realizes that he's not in the room. And as she says that, the camera obscura kind of like shifts in Kid's arms, because, you know, it's heavy. And you hear a rattling noise inside. You go to open up the back of it, you know, you have to like slide the camera plate out. And you find like within the camera obscura, the plate that was supposed to capture a picture is ruined. But inside the camera obscura is a key about the size of your forearm. You now have Cirrus's key. We cut to Ruth standing outside of what he knows is intended to be his room. He takes a breath and opens the door. We go to break.
So we are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see you all shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon. I just got to hit the right back, I think. Yes, OBS has agreed. Hello, everybody, and welcome. We've returned from our break. We were all just giggling about Frankie. No, Bram. Little cutie pants. Danae, take us away.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back from the break. When we last left off, we had found a giant key in a camera obscura, and Ruth was standing outside of what was meant to be his room. As a member of the Compass Roves way back in the day, he had a room dedicated to him. in the blueprints for the Cloudfort, and he stands before that very room.
I'm gonna try and get in it. Tell you that.
Oh, the door's unlocked.
I see.
Oh, my God.
It automatically zoomed me in, so I had to reset it to make it consistent with
That made it look so much more serious. Okay. I see. The door swings open. It is dark in here, but there's the glint of gold everywhere. Your eyes adjust to the light, and the first thing that becomes clear to you is that there is a stable stall directly in front of you.
Yep. That checks. I think he'll just sort of like moving past the stable stall, just kind of like take a look around him at everything and just see how Sixpers had kind of laid things out and just familiarize himself with the area.
There's some real man cave vibes in here. Like every inch of the wall is just covered in like framed photos, newspaper clippings, various war medals, accolades, trophies, just basically every success in this guy's life is plastered up on these walls. You will also notice it's a fairly well lived in room, like every bit of the space is used. You will also notice that there is a desk with packing paper, rolls of twine, stamps, various things used for packing and carrying mail. You kind of get the idea that this guy brought work home with him, and maybe like all he did do was work.
Yeah, I think that he'll start like feels bad about it a little bit, but he'll start like going through mail and stuff like that, like whatever's left on this desk, kind of get a better understanding of the situation. For those of you at home, it is illegal to sort through other people's mail, so don't do what Ruth is doing right now, but 'tis a fantasy.
It's a lot of correspondence, like business correspondence between Dexter and his various minions in Leafy Springs. There are a couple of letters addressed to folks back in Glimmer. And shoot, it was called something else before Sissy got a hold of it. But there is some mail that is addressed back there. What you're looking through is a mailbag that looks like it was cast aside in a hurry. In fact, as you're looking around the room, it seems pretty clear that he packed and left, and wanted to travel light the last time he was in here.
Okay.
You will see a black and white photo of him at the groundbreaking ceremony of the parcel ponies. His little horse hoof is like he's got that like, you know, the fucking like chin, like the jutting like cleft chin, and like he's in his like, you know, all his like horsey glory, and he's got his like hoof up on a spade like at the groundbreaking ceremony posing for the camera. Various like members of the deputies are present here. There is an old dented war bugle mounted on a plaque in a place of honor.
Ruth just sort of like looks at it. He'll put his hand up on that war bugle and he'll dust it. Just disintegrate it off the wall.
Okay. You needed to clarify it. I thought you were cleaning it.
No.
No, that makes sense.
And then he's probably just gonna like start going through this room. And basically every like war medal that's there, every like piece of memorabilia that he is able to just remove. To Ruth, this is like their history is not one to be proud of. So seeing it so proudly and predominantly on display is just like, I know how to take care of this. And dust, and dust, and dust. Like, he's going
all right.
through.
I feel like, is this a like, what is the energy that he's giving off as he's doing this? Is it just sort of like, all right, this is what I'm doing now, or like, is there like a more intense vibe?
I think there's more of an intense vibe. Like, it starts off with a like, okay, this is what I'm doing, but then like seeing more, like if it was a movie, right? Like, it's like, okay, he sees it, and then he sees the pictures, and then he starts like seeing like the newspaper clippings. And, like, talking about, like, oh, like, 6 Spurs stud saves the day, and, like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, like, there's, like, a lot more of this, like, almost dehumanizing talk about these non-human entities, and, like, he's just getting pissed. And so to him, it's just, like, that wasn't a medal for valor. That wasn't a medal for doing a good job. Like, we were the monsters in this situation. And so he's just, like, getting more frustrated. And, like, by the time it's done, he's just, like, disintegrating everything that he can, and all the newspaper clippings he's just like pulling off the wall. Like, he's destroying the Kenergy of this room here.
All right. I feel like this goes on for some time, and the rest of you folks who have since found found Sirius's key can hear a commotion coming from one of the other rooms.
Kid will heft the key up by the shank and wield it like a blade as he'll head over to where Ruthie is.
Okay. Ruth, you have nearly dusted everything off of the walls. You kind of like turn around looking for something else to get rid of. And you see like on the stable stall, there is this metal embossed plaque that says 6 Spurs on it. And you storm over to it and like grab it, dust it, and like, you know, it is the last like piece of the room that really like belonged to that time of 6 Spurs' life. And underneath you find scratched into the wood in childlike scrawl is the name Sparky.
I liked him better when he was half horse.
I think that's what you hear Ruth say as you walk into the room.
Y'all riding here?
And I think Ruth just like whips his head around. And like you can see that there is just like he's pissed. There's some like tears that have been like kind of like streaming down, like it's cleaning some of the dirt from his face. And like he just looks at you, takes like several deep breaths. I'm fine.
You want to blow the room up? You can blow the room up if that makes you feel better.
What does it look like I've been doing? And he'll like motion into the room, and like it's just like it looks like there was a firefight, but it was just him.
God damn it, my daddies would be so disappointed in me. Thank you, Ruthie. Kid walks into Dexter's room and starts dusting everything.
Okay. There's some like old stuff here. Stuff like basically, I get like Mr. Scrooge vibes where like the things that he owns are nice, but they're outdated. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like he's too cheap to update, but the things that he owns are worth money.
They're antiques.
Look, right now, Kid and Ruth are going through each room like we're playing Baldur's Gate 3, but you have a merchant right there for you to just be like, all right, here's an ink pot. That's like what, worth like 2 gold? All right, awesome. Here's a quill. Okay, that's 1, right?
It's the Dirge run, right?
Yeah.
Because you get your own personal merchant or something like that.
Incredible.
Chris is just like looking in one room, looks to the other room, shakes her head, goes into Six Spurs room and takes a picture.
Okay.
Doesn't warn Ruth beforehand, so
Nope.
it's just him getting blasted.
The image on the thing is just him going,
Triss and Ruth, you find yourselves in an empty room. The stable stall is no longer here. And you hear the clatter of tiny hooves as a full-bodied centaur child excitedly runs into the room and does a full-on loop, and then runs back to the door where you see a much slower moving dwarf. And this is the first time that Triss has seen Gold-Toothed Joe, quote unquote, in the flesh. And this kid is like excitedly planning where he's going to put all of his things. And he, realizes that a stable stall is going to be really hard to install into a room that's already made, and that this room was not necessarily made for him. And then this makes him sad, which kind of makes him annoyed. So he turns around and he asks Gold-Toothed Joe, "Why'd that old guy have to go and leave anyhow?" And the dwarf looks contemplative, and he will walk over to the kid and would normally take a knee, but he is in fact a dwarf, and a centaur child is probably about the same height as a dwarf, so he just puts a hand on his shoulder and he says, "Do you know why we take canaries down into the mines?" The kid shakes his head. "There can sometimes be dangerous gases underground that we can't detect on our own. We bring a canary down in the mine because they'll faint from the gas before you do, and you'll know when it's time to leave. A lot of people think the canaries die every time, but if you're fast enough, you can save them." And Sparky smiles at the mention of his best trait, speed. "Miners can get awfully attached to their canaries. If they lose them, they may never mine again. Carruthers lost one too many canaries, I think." "Well, that's dumb." Sparky puffs out his chest and tries to look brave. "He could have just got more canaries." Joe gives him a sad smile. "Suppose he didn't have the heart to lose another one. Now show me where you wanted that stall." Scene ends.
Ruth just sort of like pulls his hat down a little bit further.
Triss walks up behind him and just places a hand on his shoulder. Just a little rub.
In the same way that when you put a hand on a pan that's recently been on the stove, you know that it is hot. The hand onto Ruth, you can tell that every ounce of him is tense and flexing and trying to keep whatever he has inside of him together. That's what you
Are you
find.
gonna all right.
What you find in those other rooms?
We found a key. Did you find one in here?
Nothing key-shaped. Just a lot of, no horns for tooting oneself. But nothing, no key.
All right. Do you think there is one in here? I mean, there's only so many locks. Do you think?
Well,
It's okay. The room has been emptied of most things. At this point, there's just the parcel making supplies, a crate of various sized horseshoes, and the low bed inside the stall.
Well, it'd either be needle in a haystack, in with the shoes, or with the mail. If it was in here at all. Otherwise, I mean, there is the giant stalls that are outside as well.
Trista's gonna go look under the mattress.
You pull it up, you realize that it's stuffed with hay. Um, yeah, sure, why not? There is a well-worn, stuffed rabbit that has been shoved underneath the mattress.
Oh. Well, that's kind of sad. She picks up the rabbit and jingles it a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds like there's something in there.
Tears it at the seams.
You tear it open, you eviscerate this little stuffed bunny, and you find a key shoved inside.
You see, the tearing of the rabbit's symbolical for loss of innocence.
Yeah. She holds up the key. Did you want to dust every room, Ruthie?
Only if it pisses me off.
That is your right.
It's not like they're ever going to come back and make use of it.
Exactly. Now, I just want to be sure when we face off against this giant, are you going to be all right?
I don't think I've been all right the last 3 times we've had to do this. Well, the first 2 times we had to do this, I don't think I was all right. The third time, fuck Dexter. He's a piece of shit anyway. Never liked the fella. But it's not like it gets easier. All my time, it's never been easy. And this time we know who we're going up against. I've shared meals with him. Kept guard for him on many occasions. Saw the best of each other and the worst of each other. Now, my task, the one thing that I have going in the direction of my life is, well, in the words of the vision that we saw, keeping the canary down there for longer than it should be. If given the chance, I would ask that he just gave up everything. I'd be okay with letting him live. I know that that's not the sentiment around here, and I know that's not exactly how it goes. It's just strange being in a place that reminds you of a life that you were never meant, that you could have lived, but you just never were meant to. This is going to be my room. That's what the plan was.
I believe you took a better path.
You say that, but I'm still out here killing and making a mess of the landscape. So what's really changed?
Reason? Why you killing? Who you killing? Do you feel like you're doing what's right for you? We could walk away. We could go back down the mountain, Ruthie. We don't have to be doing this.
Triss, from the get-go, it was never about what was right for me. It was about what was right for the kid. He was the one who wanted to start on this whole dang adventure, same as you. As much as I hem and haw and have thoughts of my own, you were always kind to me, as was Kid. Not many people are these days. So I'm still here. Because if it was up to me, or rather if you were in my shoes, and you had two people, perhaps the last two people that you cared about and knew to some degree cared about you in this world, that were planning on trekking up into the dangerous-ass mountains known as the Palisades by themselves without somebody with at least a little bit lick of sense, I don't know how I'd be able to sleep at night. So instead, here I am, freezing my toes off, making sure that you and Kid, and at this point also Rakel, don't meet a fate sooner than you need to.
She puts a hand on your cheek. You can feel the warmth of her body, but also the roughness of her bark skin. And she just says, Ruthie, I am in your shoes.
He looks down.
Her feet have grown into She absorbs him and walks out.
All right, everybody meet my new
You'll always
character.
be with me, Ruth. Oh, God. Okay.
She says, we're in this together. I think you and I are in similar boat. I'm here for a kid. But I also want to make sure that you're okay. And that perhaps this is a way for you to finally close the book on your past.
Respectfully, Mistress, I haven't been okay in a long time. I don't know that I will ever be okay. But what I am is me. And at the end of the day, that's enough.
You are a good person, Ruth.
Beaten, battered, and unbathed, yet here I stand!
Oh, you can put your arms down, honey.
Okay.
I forgot to mention, you would have found this while looking through his mailbag. It's some bracers of escape. They give you a daily power that allow you to, as an immediate interrupt, teleport 2 squares away when you are the target of a melee attack.
Oh my god.
God, that sounds so fun.
I did not pick out any of these power or any of these magic items with anyone in mind. And like if you have the money for it, you now have the blueprints for it. So
Oh my god, I can give Ruthie some vampire gloves.
yeah.
Triss?
Just be sure to let me know before next session who's taken what.
He'll
That
give those to Triss as a get out of jail free card.
Okay.
What are they called?
Bracers of escape. I pasted them in the Gold Rush chat.
Thank you.
Kid pokes his head into the room. So, that was a lot of heavy stuff. I'll echo Triss's sentiment. Like, thanks for all you do, Ruthie. We appreciate you and stuff.
Say that now, but you forgot one very important thing. The first rule that we had setting out on all of this. Where's Rakel? Ever since Glimmer, we all know what's been happening. Where's Rakel? Where's your sister,
Rakel.
goddammit?
Rakel, I can't help but feel that you are perhaps searching the final room. Is that true?
He's certainly going somewhere.
All right. I think we cut immediately to Rakel pawing through a wardrobe. And it's just full of the same hat and veil, like just over and over and over again. And you pull out a bottle. Written on this bottle is snake oil, head to tail, guaranteed to speed jetting. Smash. You are in Ms. Sissy's room. You are searching through her wardrobe. You will find a pair of bracers of archery here. So I'll go ahead and paste that in the chat. Other things in this room is a bench with a greasy cloth, a bunch of different gun parts, a conspicuously vacant rifle rack mounted above it. Another bench that is much more neatly kept with chiseling tools, paints, and various instruments for making dolls. And even nicer kept is various shelves with dioramas of dolls going about domestic life.
I hate this. How are the dolls arranged?
Looking at them, they seem oddly familiar, and then you begin to realize that the dioramas are various vignettes from her perfect vision of Glimmer, and you even start to like recognize individual dolls as like different people you met in Glimmer.
Cool, 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 cool. Where's the bank vault?
You find the bank vault. It's that town square that you remember from all that time ago. And outside of the town square, it's all of the people of the town, all these familiar faces that you knew before. The town photographer is all set up, ready to take a picture. And someone is being awarded the key to the city. And of course, it's Lefty.
I'm gonna- The key to the city. Actual size.
It is the size of a key, and it has a little S embossed in it.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right. You pull it out of Lefty's arms, and are swiftly met at the door by everyone looking for you in a panic.
I'm gonna turn around. None of the dolls moved, right?
No, they're all right where they were before. Perfect in every way.
Y'all seem... I... I can't put my finger on it. It feels like y'all said some emotional stuff. I found a key
Wonderful. I think we have all of them then.
Mm-hmm.
and some bracelets.
Some bracelets.
Uh-huh.
Oh, bangles. Where?
You feel like they would give you a bonus while attacking with a rifle.
Ooh, I'll take one, please.
You want to do the thing?
Oh, right. My apologies.
The
I was
thingy.
distracted by these wonderful bracelets.
Oh,
She's like,
dashing.
thank you. She will take a picture of this room.
Okay. Things are a little bit frantic. Sissy is moving about the room, quickly packing her bags, it seems. And she shouts outside, "Hold on, just a minute!" And you hear her like leave the room and give orders to Sparky to leave with Dexter and deliver a message. And the scene ends.
Odd.
What's the message? Oh, a note? Like a note message?
She doesn't say what the message was.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It is the message.
Ah. Ruthie, do we know why all of these deputies turned on Goldtooth Roger?
Joe?
What?
Joe.
Joe. My apologies.
Ah,
They
yes,
say
the
he
king
left
of
his
the
treasure in
cowboys.
one piece. Yeah, yo.
Climb aboard and bring along.
Truth be told, I was not exactly in the know when the whole betrayal of Goldtooth Joe took place. I was doing my own thing. I was on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I
Enough
am
about it.
guilty of a lot of things, but this is not one of them.
Surprisingly, not my crime.
I was just curious.
Yeah, no, it's, as far as why, couldn't tell you. Maybe it's, in one of Dexter's journal-y things, but that also seems like something you would most likely take to your grave.
Mm.
So the number
Yeah, I
of
wouldn't want to write something like that down.
No, so the number of people who currently know why that happened is down to 1.
2.
Well,
Well-
we don't know if Goldtooth Joe knows why. They could have just been like, ha-ha, hey, you should go and get a cask of that mighty fine wine down in the cellar, and then they'd, break him up. You wouldn't know.
Y'all have lost sight of Rakel again.
Damn it!
God damn it.
I
She has
do
gone
like
to unlock the
Amontillado.
Follow the dust. Where did she go?
She's
Follow
unlocking the gate.
I was gonna say follow the gripper prints in the dust.
Okay. Rakel has made her way to the gate. Who all has the keys?
I have.
I have one.
Yeah, I got the big one.
The big one. All right. You approach. You find the checkpoint with places to inspect cargo and process folks who are traveling from the Ramble to the Gold Coast. And there is a big gate with iron bars and the golden chain with 3 remaining padlocks, one significantly larger than the others.
Now there's 2.
Now there's 2 because Rakel has finished turning the key, and you arrive in time to watch that padlock disappear in a shimmer of gold.
Hearts
Keith.
is light. It'll
Rakel will
shove.
unlock the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tris
Alright.
will put her key in as well.
Okay. Key number 3 and key number 4 are turned in the padlocks, and with the last key, the chain will shimmer away as well, and the gate will swing open on its own. And then at this point, a spring-loaded sign will, go with a violent motion to the point where you feel like you're being attacked. But it also says, if your name is not Ms. Sissy, it says all of this. If your name is not Ms. Sissy, Sparky, or Dexter, turn back now.
Kid takes out a piece of charcoal, rubs out Dexter, and writes "kid."
Okay.
I ain't breaking any
Name on it.
laws.
This sign can't stop me because I refuse to read it.
Fair enough.
Does there seem to be any? Can I check to see if there's any law attached to this sign, just to make sure we're not gonna get?
Almost certainly. The amount of time it would have taken for, I mean, you can examine it, but you can feel it.
Yeah.
amount of time it would have taken for you to get here, like, if this gate has been shut since the betrayal happened, like, these mechanisms should not be able to work anymore. They would at least need some oiling. They are law powered and therefore working like that.
But are we going to get repelled because of this sign?
In a
Is Raquel
law,
repelled?
Yeah.
is Rakel repelled? No, but more signs do keep popping up as you move forward. This leads you into basically a tunnel that has been made through the mountain, and it like has a couple of turns at certain points. If you guys have ever seen like the graveyard portion of the haunted mansion, you know, the like little ghosts that like, you know, have like the piston like pop up, that's the vibe that you get from these signs. They say things like, "Do not enter. There is no treasure here. Only death. Deadly traps ahead." And it is just like more of the same. At some point, you see bear traps placed conspicuously along the path, and they are all very clearly labeled from this side. You might notice that as you go around like the bear traps and stuff like that, those signs disappear. They're not visible. You can pick your way around them. And the signs seem to get more and more urgent as you pass along this path. And the most urgent of them say, "These traps are meant to contain a deadly force. There will be no more warnings past this point. If you continue, you will not be able to return."
A question for the group. Why are we going down here?
This is Cloudfort Pass. It's the only way through the Palisades.
As Ruth explains.
Right. Okay. So we have to do this.
Well, have to would have been a question at least a dozen bodies ago.
Oh, all right. Well, but lead the way.
Are y'all talking about something back there?
Oh, Rakel!
Oh, Kid is on Rakel's heels.
After you, Ruthie.
Okay. What is the marching order?
From the sound of it, it's
Raquel and Kid, followed by Triss and then Ruth.
Yep.
Rakel, Kid, Triss, Ruth.
Ruth will go in front of Triss because Triss is our marksman. I'll be vanguard, but like I'd prefer it if we were like side by side marching, just in case you needed protection in back or front.
So you want to be up with Rakel?
No, with Triss.
With Triss. Sorry, I have a hard time with lists of names. Yeah.
No worries.
I was all like, I'll write these down so I know what's going on. And then more information came and I was all like, oh no. Okay, so I have Rakel, Kid, and then Triss and Ruth together, right? Okay. Rakel, give me a perception check. Oh, shit. Yeah, another thing.
17.
17. Okay. You come to a long stretch. I've told you that there's like been a couple of turns through this tunnel thus far. You come to a long stretch, and just before this long stretch, there are 2 wall-mounted Gatling guns pointing down the hallway you intend to walk down. They're like pointing in the direction that you're going to walk. And they both have individual signs on them that say, "Dangerous weaponry, do not touch."
What in the shit is going on in here?
cursed to put my hands on everything.
Do you touch it?
Not if his friends are within, like, a firing range of it. He won't touch it.
Can we look at it, please?
Can we, like, toss stuff down the hall first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, what are you throwing?
I'll throw. I have like a spare sack that I keep some clothing in. I'll toss that down the hallway.
Mm-hmm. No response from the weaponry.
Can I imbue?
They are accessible to you. You could reach out and like literally tamper with these things.
Let's see if they're active first.
Right.
If I stick my hand out like slightly, do they move? Like, whoop?
Nope. They're just 2 Gatling guns mounted to the wall, like old-timey Gatling guns, you know?
Oh, like
And
hand
they're-
cranks.
The feeders,
Yeah. And they are pointing down the hallway that you intend to walk down.
They seem to be for protection from whatever's down there. Do they look like they are automatic or they would need to be cranked?
They have law on them. Smells like Cirrus's work.
Could I? Okay, time for kids arcane check shenanigans. Can I read the law on them first off and figure out like if they are set to a specific thing?
Give me an Arcana check.
You know what? I'll use an action point. I want to know. 30.
Oh, damn. Okay. With that 30, I would allow you to rewrite the law slightly, if you so choose. The dominant law in all of Cirrus's work that you have found has been, like, go away, like, repel, keep out. This is like similar, but it's more sophisticated. It feels like he was more in his right mind when he wrote this law. And there's like more rules to it. Like, do not shoot in this like area. Like, only shoot in the hallway. Only shoot when the enemy is present. Do not shoot friendlies.
And then kid goes to a small drop-down menu in the law and then puts exclude or whitelist Ruthie,
Add
Rakel,
friendly.
kid.
Yeah,
Add friendly.
All right. I'm down for that.
It should be good to go for the time being. They won't shoot us at the very least. I wonder if I could take some of this and actually apply it to... Kid starts walking down the hallway past the Gatling guns.
Okay. Are we maintaining marching order, or does Kid want to move to the front?
Kid will move to the front. He is tanky.
All right, perception check.
Oh, that's right. Rakel!
You decided to go forward.
22.
Kid, there is a tripwire at the end of the hallway.
That's not good. Light dusting of chalk over it to show everyone where it is. You might want to just, Kid steps over it.
You step over the tripwire and onto a pressure plate.
Oh, well, fuck.
This is going to be an attack against your reflex, which is how traps work in this edition. Does a 27 hit?
Yep.
Okay. Kid falls. There's a snapping noise in front of you as a trapdoor opens underneath Kid. And there's a snapping noise behind you as a trapdoor opens in the ceiling at the beginning of the hallway. Kid, you fall into something soft. And then it starts to tingle. The rest of you see something begin to emerge from the pit that Kid fell in. It is Kid floating in midair. And there's a weird sort of shimmery thing going on in front of him. As the gelatinous cube rises up out of the pit, you turn around to find that another one is sliding down out of the ceiling behind you, trapping you between two gelatinous cubes in a hallway. And next time, we will roll initiative.
Wings, this is terrifying, but I am having a great time. But I always have a great time whenever you are on the channel. Wings, where can we find you? What do you do?
My name's Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings, mostly related to DnD and a lot of things on this channel. You can also find me on G game nights on Saturdays playing Blades in the Dark, where I am a vampire cowboy. It's very fun. DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. My name is RJ. You can catch me at RJustice282 on all of my socials. I'm over on here, of course, on Mondays. Tomorrow over at High Shelf Collective, where we're playing Heart, the City Beneath, where I'm a junk mage. And the first spell I ever casted was Command Word Shit Yourself. It's great. Saturdays over at G Game Nights, where I am playing Fume a Hull. He's a little science boy, and now he is a science man, and it's fun. He's gonna blow up a government building. Sunday, oh well, yeah, and that's it. My weekend is pretty free these days. DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on Instagram and on Blue Sky, where my schedule is going to be updated tomorrow. I'm making a note of that. But the next time you can catch me live is on Wednesday on Nerd Immersion's channel. We are about to fight an Elder Brain with no resources except for potions and spell scrolls. It's gonna be great. And then on Wednesday or on Thursday, we're going to be back with Tales of the Valiant, where we are doing an alternative sort of side thing where I'm playing a bard, an Irish bard. And we found a prince. We lost the prince. It's fine. It's going to be fun. And then on Fridays, Ren and I are going to finish up Split Fiction, which we've been very much enjoying. And on Sunday, we're going to start a game with Greg Leatherman, his new game, which I just found out is not out yet because the Kickstarter has not been done because tariffs. So yeah, he's like, yeah, the book would be $75 if I tried to put it out now. So, but it is a Pocket Monsters game, Damasaki Trainers. So we'll be playing that so you guys get a taste before it actually comes out, hopefully soon. That's me, DanaeKeener.com.
Oi, I'm Cyber. DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this currently when we can, because being an adult and being in your 30s is rough in this economy. But that being said, you can go and check us out anywhere audiocasts are being made available for free. You can also find us, youtube.com/Indoor Adventures. Great place. We also have our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, available at patreon.com/Indoor Adventures. So if you would like to go and check that out, I would recommend it. But for now, we are going to be heading out. So I would like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop by. Thank you to these incredible players for putting up with our bullshit once again this week. And Danae, thank you so much for running this game. This has been fantastic, and we hope to see all of you next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!